Hello guys, what is happening and welcome to this video. So I got the honor of having with me Scott Walters again for the fifth appearance on this channel. We're going to be discussing everything real estate. Talk a little bit about the denial phase. Now, if you want to reach out to Scott or check out his channel, I highly recommend you check it out. I put links in the description to his channel. Absolutely fantastic channel that he's grown, just rapidly fast because he's out there giving real talk. Scott was one of these people that I saw, and he was the only realtor giving real talk before we started to turn this corner and the tides kind of turned. So it's great to have him back. Also, guys, please put your questions in the chat. I'll try and monitor the chat throughout this and we can try and sneak in some of your questions. Scott, welcome back to the stream, my man. How are you doing?
Good to see you again, Luke. I can't believe it's the fifth time I've been on the show. That's insane. Like I didn't even realize that.
I know, yeah, it's crazy. I just looked quickly before we came on here and I was like, yeah, man, it's the fifth time, but it's fantastic. And you've been, it's funny because we've spoke since before this kind of the tides turned, when it was all euphoric and everything like that. And now it's just totally different market.
Well, yeah, and welcome everybody who's watching today. It's an honor and a privilege to be with you guys. I hope you're all doing great. And yeah, it's been really interesting. I'm one of these guys, I'm just some middle-aged man out here working in real estate, a very euphoric Southern California market when this bubble, was created, and I found ourselves, just getting really busy with real estate. And then this FOMO. I was just recording a video that's going to release this week talking about this is the only time in history that I've seen, and we've had bubbles throughout history. We've always had bubbles, right? And historically, they always 100% of the time pop. So when I saw this one, I came to YouTube and started ringing the bell and sounding the alarm. But there's so many records have been broke with this bubble. It's insane to me. And one of the ones that I noticed recently is, this was the only time in history you couldn't even get your for sale sign in the yard before you're having multiple offers over asking price at ridiculous levels. Like, to me, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, how can people not see this as a potential warning sign or a red flag? And I'm like, I gotta just come, start giving some real talk. And then, I found you on the channel supporting me, and I was really new at that time. And so then I realized you had a channel. I watched your channel. And I was like, I really like what this guy is doing. Anytime I see somebody just trying to create awareness, and just let people know, like, this might have some blowback. And so now we're seeing the market completely shift, and I don't want to be a guy that's like, I told you so, you guys should have listened to me. And, I always say I'll get out of the problem in the solution. My job is to help people, save people from making a massive financial roll of the dice, and we're going to do that. We're going to do that today. I'm going to help hopefully a lot of people understand what's going on with the markets, what to expect next, which is always the $1 million question, and more importantly, how to move away from this disaster and into hopefully an opportunity for you guys to be some of the few people that can go navigate through what's potentially coming, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. And when I think I watched you, which was probably around November last year, I think you had something like 13,000 subs at that point, and now you got like 35,000 or whatever it is. So that's just insane. That just goes to show that people like what you're saying, because it's hard to find any truth. And we see a lot of these real estate agents on YouTube who are still trying to peddle the same old, and they're not getting the views. And really the reason why they're not getting the views is just because what they're saying, they're just trend chasing and they're just propagating what they think is correct. But really,
yeah, it's funny, but I have to jump in. I just recently was talking to a subscriber, called me on the phone, and they're like, I hate to bother you. It's so awesome to talk to you. Like, I never thought you'd pick up the phone. And we were talking about their real estate agent that they had, and how they were unhappy with the real estate agent, that the real estate agent was, basically peddling some narrative of how, this market at this time is different, or whatever the case would be. And it's so funny because I don't like most real estate agents, and I am one, right? Like, here I am, I'm a real estate agent, and I see the same thing you guys are seeing, and I have social media all over the place, every available platform, but most of it I'm just sprinkling out little marketing pieces. But when I see grandstanding, people on TikTok saying, oh, this is why historically interest rates are still low and real estate always goes up. No, it doesn't. I mean, if you follow the data, yeah, over time it'll appreciate, but we've always had booms and busts in the markets, and we just were in the biggest boom ever, and now the data is showing we're heading for a bust. We're trending the other direction. Demand is in disaster mode right now. There is zero, like, the demand has fallen off a cliff, so we're just trending the other way. Now it becomes a matter of, what do you guys think? Drop it in the comments. Is it a simple correction this time? The biggest real estate bubble in the world, maybe we just have a correction? Or is it maybe a recessionary level of a downturn this time? Is it a full-blown economic depression, or depressionary levels could be seen once again that we haven't seen in 100 years? Because over time, depressionary levels of a downturn cycle every 100 years, once in a lifetime, and it always needed some catalyst to deliver the depressionary level, like the Civil War, the Revolutionary War, the Spanish flu, the Corona flu. I mean, we got what we need right here. So, like, am I guaranteeing that'll happen? No, but is the percentage of likelihood very high? I personally think it is.
Well, yeah, and I think when you really see the trends of, like, civil unrest and everything that's happened, the wealth divide between rich and poor getting so extreme, like, it can only go so far. Like, at some point, something's got to give, whether that's people rebelling, taking to the streets, whatever it's going to be. But, it's interesting you talking about the Great Depression, because one of the interesting facts about, like, Weimar Germany and their hyperinflation episode was a lot of that started because of workers striking, and then the government's solution to that was to just print up money. And I was thinking, seeing back in my home country in England, same thing happening with lots of strikes happening right now because of inflation. And then at some stage, are we going to see the government try and solve that by printing money? That always seems to be the resolution. But at some point, something's got to give, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, this is just pure insanity for me to watch this play out. I mean, I've just never seen anything quite like it. I've been around the block a few times. I've been around for a while. What I'm seeing now is complete insanity. Like, I've just never seen anything like this. The social unrest, the global fracture. Like, there's just, and I mean, I think one of the things we're contending with today in this bubble versus maybe previous bubbles, our digital diet today. I mean, we are so connected, right? We're like, I'm going to invest. This is slow moving real estate. It lags about a year behind. All we're like I've always said, personally, by the end of the year, we're going to know and the crazy thing about this one, again, is the government telling us inflation would be transitory. It's automatically just going to fix itself magically. And then we all see, then they reverse course. Then we had 2 negative quarters of GDP growth, which always has been the way that we would verify we're in recessionary levels. But this time it's different because job numbers are still healthy. This lags behind. So by the end of the year, my prediction, you heard it here first on Market Mania Canada, is by the end of the year, I believe we're going to see the government forced to reverse course again and admit we're in an official what? Recession.
Yeah. I agree with you totally on that, and they've done that before as well. I was reading that they did it after the tech bubble burst. After the tech bubble burst, they came out and said, yeah, it's not really a recession because unemployment hasn't gone up, but that's always a lagging thing. People are saying here that they're picking up a little bit of static on your audio. I don't know what, I don't hear it, but maybe just try and unplug your headset and plug it back in, see if that makes any difference. It's weird. We had no issues last time.
Go ahead and talk again, Luke.
Yeah, so it's still there. It's totally weird. You could, if you want, because, yeah, I don't know what's called. Maybe try go in and out of the StreamYard, and then I'll just talk real. Keep your headset on because the audio's good on that. It's just
all right. How does it sound now?
Yeah, it sounds fine actually. Yeah.
Ask the viewers. Is anybody hearing like am I staticky on the viewers end?
Let's see here. There's a slight delay. Because there's like we're like 5 seconds or 10 seconds, I guess. I
can always jump out and jump back in. We've done that before.
Yeah. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. Yeah, still static. Yeah, try jumping in, jump back out, and
I'll be back, you guys.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So really, it's absolutely insane the kind of phases that we've seen in this market. We've gone from crazy FOMO to this just, absolute denial phase that we're in right now. And put in the chat any questions that you have for Scott. I'll try and pick them out when I can see them. But hopefully we get the audio fixed. It's really strange on my end. There's no issues, and because we had an echo issue when Jared was on, I didn't know what was causing that, so I put headphones on this time. So because I thought maybe it was the speakers, but yeah, it's kind of insane, guys. This market, we've spoke to Scott the whole time throughout this market, and just to see the turn of the tides and everything that's happened, it's kind of crazy. So Scott's back now. All right, man. That was. Start talking.
All right, I'm back. I don't know how we're gonna do.
Yeah, I don't hear anything wrong. Let's.
Yeah, it's funny because the last time we did this, I had the headset, went great, and the time before that, we had a similar situation where I was staticky. But
yeah, it's bizarre. I don't know what causes that. It's really weird. I'll have to. Oh yeah, everyone's saying good, better. It's great. It's great. We're good. All right. So I was just saying, do you think we're in this denial phase right now where sellers kind of don't know what is going on? A lot of people are thinking, I'll wait till next year. Some people are reducing the price type environment.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think a lot of the sellers, of course, if you're a seller right now, you want to believe that we're still, the realities are, even though we've I would say you can't time the bottom of a real estate crash, you can time the top of a bubble, and we just hit the top because we're seeing now days on market, price reductions, things are, inventory, everything's now identifying it, that we're at the top of the bubble. So the people that I'm talking to that are coming to the market, they're like, yeah, I know I'm prepared to, be on the market for a little longer. I'm prepared to be on the market for a little longer. You better be prepared to come on the market at a very attractive price because the buyer demand is cool enough. Now, the reality is there's a saying, a sucker is born every single day, and not everybody, out there shopping is watching channels like this. And a lot of times, like I say, as a trained salesman, this comes down to the psychology of people, the psychology of sales. I know once people make up their mind to buy, they're buying. The sky could be falling, and they're going to buy. I did it in the last bubble. I bought, and I bought my house in the last bubble. It had gone through about 25% of its original list price and price reductions, and I grabbed it, thinking I did pretty good. It had another 25% coming that I wasn't aware of. I caught a falling knife. And I decided, I was crazy. I'm like, I got to get away from this thing. I got to dump this house. And I orchestrated a brilliant short sale. Like, I capitalized on that, flipped the tables on the banks. Don't ever want to do that again. I will never. And that was the commitment I made. I said, you know what? I will never, ever put all my eggs into just owning my house. I'm an investor. I'm a landlord. I should not have done that. I drank the Kool-Aid. So there's a lot of people out there drinking the Kool-Aid. So a lot of, I'm just seeing listings pouring in, people stuck on the market, going through price reductions. So an agent might get a hold of a seller and say, oh yeah, we're going to get you off the market. I love your house. It shows so well. We should have no problem this one. And then they let the seller set the price, come on the market, and it sits there, and hey, we had our open houses, no offers. We're going to have to drop the price. But you said my house was like great and it was going to sell. I know the market's cooling. See all these rainbows and sunshine. People are reversing course. And so it's just the dynamic of, like I said, the psychology of sales and the psychology of people. So, yeah, I mean, sellers are having to understand what's going on. The realities are we're still at elevated price levels, even though we're starting to see the trending we're still stuck at the highest we've ever seen houses. You can still get a tremendous amount of money for your house, but if you get greedy and come on the market at the top of the market at estimated values, comparable, we'll run comparables. This is based on the sales, what your house is worth if we come on the market today. But that data is lagging by the time we get you on the market for sale signs. It's continued. So you want to price in. I always recommend my sellers come on at least a minimum, even in a normal market, 5% under its value. So I can get every eyeball in town over to the house.
Yeah.
But if I come on at the top of the market, how many people do you think are going to race over to look at this house? But most agents won't have that heart-to-heart with they just want the listing, and then they're just going to take them through price reductions and ruin a relationship, and they're going to hate their agent because they promised them all this. I'd rather overpromise and overpromise. I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, right? So anyway, that's kind of what I'm seeing.
Yeah, no, that's great insights right there. Thank you so much. And Greg just sent us a $5 super chat and says thanks very much for your hard work. And we've also got a question, I think.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah,
you're awesome, man. I don't know why. That's so awesome when people do that. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is fantastic way to support the channel. And thank
really
you
generous.
so much,
awesome.
Greg. It is really generous. So somebody else said, and Greg, let us know if you have a question, and I'll pin it up here. I think no question right now. It's just sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah, nice. Stay there, dude. Stay there.
Yeah,
that's why he's got $5 he can throw at the channel, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
He can go buy at the height and FOMO into this bubble.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I was thinking the other day, right now with prices falling, a lot of people don't realize it, but they're legitimately being paid to wait right now. Because, when prices are falling, you're getting paid to wait. When prices are going up, you're losing essentially the longer you wait. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. Someone said, Scott, what will cause vacation areas like Tahoe to crash? Tahoe's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, what's going to cause that to crash is a recession. Once we get into an official recession, where now, we're seeing everything, every measurable piece of data show us we're headed for a recession. We're seeing a softening in the financial markets. We're seeing the quantitative tightening where money's being removed from the system. There's only one thing left, and that's unemployment numbers. As soon as we start to see those go up, it's game over. And so a lot of these vacation areas like Tahoe, wherever, any destination city that relies on a lot of heavy tourism, we're going to see a lot of people start to change the way they spend money. And we never quite rebounded in a lot of ways from the pandemic. Sure, real estate, people might still been willing to go jump in a rental or, a timeshare or whatever the case may be. But, a lot of times this is my general rule of thumb response when I'm selling in the most euphoric place in the world where I'm at in Southern California, is places like Tahoe will probably be one of the last to get hit in a downturn. but they'll get hit. And they might be one of the first to rebound in a downturn, but they can't escape a recession. Nobody escapes a recession, even if you're living in an area that didn't see extreme overnight appreciation like some of the other areas that we saw. Drink the Kool-Aid again, these Vegas, Phoenix, all these other places that just had Idaho, big growth overnight, unsustainable levels. We're seeing them now feel the most amount of pain first, and this will lag. This will take a year to play out. I believe by the end of the year, we're going to see a free fall potentially out of those places. So with Tahoe, don't be surprised if they end up seeing substantial. Now that's a vacation area, second homes, but a lot of wealthy people, if they drink the Kool-Aid, they're going to start dumping assets, trying to free up cash. And this is the thing, is people will dump their assets at a loss. Once you get into panic and fear, we're going to see that out of the institutional buyers. They're going to liquidate massive amounts of homes potentially. So that's my feedback for Tahoe and others like Tahoe. The last to get hit, one of the last, potentially, historically, is what we see, and maybe the first to rebound. So again, the rule of thumb is just never go buy more house than you need. Personally, my whole thing, especially when you're buying your first home, you can start with your first home to become a real estate investor. Always check the property's rent range, even though it's not a rental. You want to know, if you were to rent that property, what would your rent payment be? That's what you need your mortgage payment to be at, because it's an added insurance policy we pulled for ourselves just in case a recession visits us once again, and they always visit us. And so that's my number one rule. You can buy today. Although I think we're going to see, if the real estate market crashes or even has a correction, recession, or depression at any level, rents will follow. Rents will soften as well. At least that's what happened in the last bubble. I anticipate it to happen again with this bubble, is because people will be forced to drop rents to get people to, when the real estate market gets into a free fall, it's buckle up and strap in. No one's safe. Landlords, owners, investors, no one's safe. Everybody gets hit.
Oh yeah, and you're so right about the rent range and everything like that, and that's what really blows my mind about this whole bubble. Looking at places in the States and Canada, a lot of places like Vegas are like 30-40%. Like, houses are selling, the mortgage payment is like 30% more than they can even rent for. So if they lose their job, they're done.
Nobody ever checks the rent range. And the reason nobody ever, this is how it happens. I deal with this all the time. Hey, Scott, we're looking to buy a house. Great. Have you talked to a lender yet? No. Okay, let me have you talk to the lender. Lender talks to you. Okay, based on your income, this is what you qualify. This is the amount of house you can buy. Great. Hey, Scott, we got a pre-approval letter for $500,000. Great. I've set up some houses to tour today, all within $500,000. Let's go look at houses. Hey, so we like this one, Scott. Great. Let's write an offer. Write the offer. It gets accepted. We're in escrow. Then we close escrow, give you the keys, give you some balloons and flowers and a gift card and tell you congratulations, move you into the home. That's what typically happens in a real estate transaction. What needs to happen is, hey, Scott, we want to buy a house. Great. Have you got the financing together yet? No. Okay, let's do that. Okay, this is what we want to do. We want to start looking at properties. We need to determine what they're going to rent for, just in case we at some point want to move up the property ladder and turn this into a rental. So you can own real estate, be a real estate investor, use your primary home to start with that. If I can get you to, instead of selling this house, to move into a different one, hold it. Let's do this 2 or 3 times. Find out its rent range. Then we go to the lender. We need our payment to be in or around this price, not what we qualify for, what the property would actually rent for. Then I start you off. You're going to live in it for a couple of years, maybe do a little sweat equity. Hey, Scott, we want to do that again. We love that. Can you get us a renter for this thing? Absolutely. Let's get you a renter and get you on to the next. And we do that 2 or 3 times. All you need is a handful of rentals.
Yeah.
You don't have to own an apartment building. In fact, I personally don't want to own massive. I want quality, manageability, just a handful that creates free time and takes the pressure off me at my day job so I can quit my day job. I mean, that's what we all want, right? It's not more money. We want more free time.
Yeah.
Which was kind of the problem with pandemic. We're like, here, free time. Everybody, you're getting paid to stay at home. And then people are like, I don't want to go back to work. I mean, I feel rich right now. And then this is all going to, it's going to hand grenade people, dude.
Yeah, and I saw the divorce rates are absolutely skyrocketing right now.
I haven't even looked at that, but it doesn't surprise me because that happened in the last bubble.
Exactly, gas prices high, all these different things.
Because I'll tell you what's happening. Hey, honey, we need to take a summer vacation. The kids, we want to go to Wally World. And then the guy's like, dude, listen, there's like a recession, inflation, the ticket, like we can't do Wally World this year, we got to just do a staycation. No, we'll make it work. Just put it on the credit card. We'll figure it out. That's what people are doing out there. And you want to please your wife or, the woman in your life or vice versa, whatever the case may be. And you crumble and you go slam it on a credit card thinking, well, I'll refi the house, and I'll do a cash out route, I'll consolidate some debt. Insanity what people are doing out there. It's happening.
Yeah.
And then it blows up in their face, and then they get a divorce because you're like, I told you we shouldn't have taken the trip to Wally World.
It's so true. You see people splurging like crazy, right? Well, not right now, but I suppose right now because people, they haven't been able to vacation, so they're spending money on vacation. But I mean, this is like the last hurrah for the vacation industry because next year it's not going to be like this year. That's for sure. And it will hit places like Tahoe. Like that person anywhere really that is a vacation rental type place or whatever.
Yeah, it's a really good point because I think, one of the comments I continue to see on my channel, and I'm sure you saw it too, is, this time is different. This time is different because the loans are much stronger this time, right? And it's always something different in every single economic downturn that was the catalyst.
Yeah.
That was the knockout blow. It's not a one size fits all situation. So this catalyst was very much different, but it's just different. And it doesn't. I would say it doesn't matter how you find yourself into a real estate bubble. The facts are we're in one, so you might want to pay attention. Play it a little conservative at this time.
Yeah,
I'm more worried about the 10 million people that bought in the height of this buying euphoria and went above and beyond appraised value. So they're the ones right now who bought through the euphoria and overpaid. They bid the property way up. So they wouldn't reappraise for their values in a downturn. So that means that you no longer own your house. The house owns you because you have no option to sell it and satisfy the loan on it. So you're now hanging on and it's insane. That is what's going on out there as we speak. There's just no way to sugarcoat that. That is what's going on.
Yeah, it's all, and it is different in a lot of ways, the circumstances this time, but you've still got the ridiculous amount of lending that happened. And yeah, it might not be in the housing market, but let's take a look at the auto loans. Like the defaults for auto loans are absolutely skyrocketing, and they would give those to anybody with a pulse. And
that's with low unemployment. Can you imagine? That's with the best job numbers we've seen. That is the only thing left that I see potentially for anybody trying to cheerlead or hang their hat on is now, well, the job market's still strong. Lagging indicator. And so if we're already seeing and we got smart people at the channel, I'm sure in the comments right now. And what about this? And what about that? We're just scratching the surface here. There's so many red flags and warning signs. Most of the people are very smart, very aware, and very, they very much know what's going on out there. Here's the thing. It all comes down to if you just bought your house during this euphoria and you felt like you won the house because there was a competition and you got it, well, then the last thing you wanted to do is admit that maybe it wasn't the right thing to do. You want to defend your position of you got the house. And anybody on the sidelines, vice versa. They want to defend their position of where they're on the sidelines. So like I always say, you know, the truth is usually somewhere in the middle. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Hopefully you come out somewhere in the middle. So while I'm over here as an investor, as a landlord, as a real estate owner, as an active agent, current, you know, client base that I'm servicing, buyers and sellers, I'm cutting through the chatter. And you can clearly see I'm leaning towards one direction, that this is a real estate bubble that's unsustainable. Mm-hmm. Now, you know, I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I benefit from this continuing, this euphoria, right? I benefit. But having suffered the effects of the last bubble firsthand, I had a moment of clarity. I was shopping homes, looking at homes during this euphoria, and I had a moment of clarity. And I said, I watched somebody on YouTube. I'm like, they're right. Like, I have to ring the bell and sound the alarm. Mm-hmm. And like you said, the channel continues to grow. Mm-hmm. And clearly I've resonated with an audience on this topic. So for me, it's just confirmation that maybe I'm right.
Yes.
Maybe I'm right. Maybe I need to continue to do this. Now, my goal eventually is I want to buy more real estate. I love real estate. I got enough real estate. Like, I don't need more real estate. Mm-hmm. But I want to do it for the viewers, the people that haven't got real estate yet.
Yes.
I want to show them how to do it. And I know buying at the height of a super bubble is not going to make you rich.
It's going to do the opposite.
You got to buy outside the bubble. Now, if you buy in the super bubble and you come in with 25% down and you check its rent range and you factor in some maybe rent reductions like 10%, so you have a little wiggle room, you could safely buy in this market. The minimum amounts down to 3%, 5%. First-time home buyer programs, very exposed, never checking the rent range. Those are the people that don't own their houses. Their houses will own them, mark my words. And eventually, when you start to, as somebody, you qualified for the loan based on dual income, her and him, 2 incomes, one person gets laid off, you're one layoff away from a tailspin, dragging a depreciated asset that you put so much pressure to buy that it's going to be so much mental anguish. And I always say the first step of getting past a problem, admit there's a problem. The second step is accept it. As soon as you can accept the situation, you can move away from it. For me, I did the same thing in the last bubble. As soon as I accepted the situation as a depreciated asset, I'm going to get out from under it. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it the best of my ability. Once I flipped that switch, I went to work. I had a goal: get out from under this depreciated asset. That's basically what we're going to see again.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy that everything's repeating, like the high gas prices, everything, the divorce rate, you know, everything. It's just crazy, really, when you think about it. But, you know, it really has been an honor to have you on again, Scott. And we'll have to do this again sometime soon because, you know, there's so many questions going by in the chat right now. But, you know, it's just fantastic. And thank you so much for coming on. So what's your closing statement? You always deliver such a strong one.
Oh, yeah. Well, in final thoughts, I come to you as a friend, as a content creator. Somebody wants to see you not only win in real estate, win in life. Understanding buying in the height of the biggest real estate bubble ever artificially produced in world history might not bring that. Buying outside the bubble quite possibly could. Please stay tuned. Stay close to like-minded people. Iron sharpens iron. You will win in real estate. Just continue to have a realistic view of what we're living through right now. We have some adjustments coming. Everything's cooling off. The writing's on the wall. If you buy, always check the property's rent range. Buy accordingly, and you should be fine no matter what's going on in the market. Thanks for having me on, Luke.
Yeah, thank you so much, Scott, for coming on. And thank you, everybody, for being on this live stream. Please make sure to hit that like button so this gets out there, so more people can see it. And we will be doing this again, I'm sure, real soon. So leave a comment with your question maybe for next time, and then we'll have some preset questions to go ahead with at the start of this. Thank you so much, guys. I will see you in the next one.